Hello there, it's David. I'm back quite promptly, but it's because I wanted to expand on my last video, which was called Check-in in the year 21. As I just flew through a number of things on that video, and now I would like to just expand a teeny bit, not too much, and get more in depth about it all so that people have a more clear idea. So I started there with my status, with checking in, and I want to let you know that, you know, about 2.5 years ago, to remind you, I started my taper journey from my rehab meds. As you know, I was on about 100 milligrams of methadone and 4 milligrams of clonazepam. Now I am at 1.5 milligrams of clonazepam and 60 milligrams of methadone. So it's not like I haven't done anything. I have actually gone a long way. But during this COVID crisis and depressions and multi-crises going in our lives, doctors have been on have not been sure whether tapering is that important at this point. But now life has to continue, and we are talking about tapering again. So we have started again. As you see, I'm okay. I P negative for any illicit street drugs, and I am not at all thinking of going back to using. I know my daughter is in high school now, and she's going to need her daddy very, very much, and that's something that must be realized, and the child has to have a father like she has a mother, and I will be there for her. I'm already too old to mess around anyway. You know, I actually started having some talks with my 13-year-old daughter about this overdose crisis in BC, and we talk about COVID a lot because she still attends school while most things are on a lockdown, and schools seem to be the safest place for some reason. But the numbers for COVID in BC for 2020, there was about 66,000 cases last year of COVID in BC, but only about 1,200 of those cases have been fatalities, deaths related to COVID. So we've been doing pretty good. It's just lately there's been a huge turnaround, and we had like 1,000 cases a day. We had something like 2,000 cases per weekends because people started going back to throwing underground hidden festivals and happenings, and then thousands of people would end up in isolation. Nationwide, in Canada, there was about 765,000 cases in 2020, of which 20,000 people have died. The rest have recovered, but that's still a large number. you know. Now going to the BC overdose crisis, we had about 153 deaths in the month of November again. So again, around the 150 mark, 170 mark. And in the year of 2020, we have surpassed the number of 1,500 fatalities to overdose related to fentanyl, carfentanil, and other sedative toxicity in drugs. And it has been now about 5 years since the overdose crisis was labeled as a public health emergency in BC. And since this declaration, we have lost about 65 um, 65 or 7,000 people, of which are about 1,000 or more people on the island health region, and about 100 people in the Comox Valley. So in the last 5 years, since this has been declared a public health crisis in BC, we have lost a good 6,500 people, I would say, at least, and homelessness, and people being stuck on the streets is still out there. I see it all the time. Although the safe supply has kicked in, all people in need who do not want to use and risk their lives buying on the street things that are tainted with all kinds of things nowadays, and risk their lives again, I say, they they are now being prescribed by doctors and nurses a clean, safe dope supply, which is, I heard, Cadian for people who don't shoot up, just swallow, which is a morphine sulfate, very one of the cleanest pharmaceutical versions of morphine. And also in liquid forms, hydromorphone or Dilaudid is administered. And one of the policy changes that we were really, really, really hard on, and we were really hoping that will come through with a few doctors and people, that these safe injection sites will be more and more widely open. But not only that, the safe injection use inside these premises has to be monitored and has to be on a witness basis. You cannot go in there with your own dope from the street, and also you shouldn't be able to leave with that clean supply and sell it on the street or whatnot, or taint it and sell it. We knew from the beginning that if this started happening, then it would have to be monitored and witnessed basis, policies. And also the RCMP is conducting talks and meetings about decriminalizing all drugs, which I hear all doctors are for these days. And we just have to keep being aware, keep minding our surrounding, and keep remembering that we are living in this multi-crisis mode, and not to forget any of them. There is still people dying of hunger, of violence, of criminal activities, racism, prejudice, police brutality, and even though there is a cold flu vaccine shot, there is still thousands of people dying, many thousands of people dying of regular flu, yearly. And so I just keep on wondering about these COVID-19 vaccines. How come in such a record time they are available when people still don't quite understand the virus itself? As I understand it, mutates itself now, and it has mutated into different versions of the virus, which some are deadlier than others, and they vary from country to country, from province to province, from continent to continent, and they're saying that they understand the virus enough to now have a vaccine ready to administer it to people, and it's already done. I'm not sure. It's something I would like to see happen. Just like I am scared for my girl because she goes to school and I know how much she loves school and I don't want to argue with her and her mother and her friends. I want her to be happy. I've basically made it clear that I trust her judgment, and if I see foul play, I will pull her out of school because I have the right. But as far as things are going good, I'm not gonna rebel, and I'm not gonna, cause any cause any problems, to my daughter or my ex or anyone else for that matter. I'm gonna see how things play out, and hopefully everyone's being responsible, especially for their own corner, you know, and then expend your love to others. After all, we have to be there for each other. And don't forget to do a good deed once a day or help somebody out. One love. Talk soon. One more thing I wanted to mention actually is that if you are having problems, I see a lot of questions, online and meetings that revolve around how do you start recovery? How do you get help? How do you go about it, to start with? And I would say contact VIHA here, which is Vancouver Island Health Association, or any nursing center, or simply go make an appointment with your family doctor, talk to your family doctor, and they will be more than willing and equipped to supply you with next necessary further steps to take in order to get into rehabilitation or improve your life. And don't forget to reach out. And as I understand, because of COVID, meetings are not in person these days, but they are mostly happening online through sites like Zoom. So just so you know, there is sites like Zoom as well. And once more, I wanted to say, don't give up. I'm not.